Hi guys, it's Violet and Jilly, and welcome to Listen to Your Body. And today is the second series in our series, the second episode of the digestive system. And if you see the sun, it's a beautiful day here, and it's very windy. We just had a ice storm. It was like really really bad, but I praise the Most High for the sun, praise Him for the
Yes.
sun. So, the sun, yes. So in this episode, Julie is going to talk about the components of the digestive system. So I'm going to have her take it over, without any further ado.
Hey
Welcome,
guys.
Julie.
Jilly being back. So like Ms. Violet said, we're going to be talking about the components of the digestive system. And Ms. Violet will, interject and stuff and comment on things as we go through it as well. And I'm real excited to talk about this because there's so much that goes into the digestive system, the components in the digestive system. So, of course, we know, as Ms. Violet, you pointed out last week, actually, it starts in the mouth. The
Yes.
digestive process starts in the mouth. So the digestive tract starts in the mouth and it ends all the way in our bottom area, our anus.
Yes.
So that's the digestive tract from the mouth all the way until the anus. And then in addition to that, the digestive tract, we have accessory organs like the pancreas that makes digestive enzymes that help break down our food, in the liver, the gallbladder. These are accessory organs. So the digestive tract plus the accessory organs that aid in the digestion process make up what we call the digestive system. So, excuse me if I look down a bit, I do have some notes written down too.
Go ahead.
So we're starting with the digestive tract in the mouth. So if you notice when you smell some good food, like some curry or whatever food that you like, when you start smelling food, you'll notice your mouth starts to water. I know we've all kind of heard that where you can say your mouth is watering, you're hungry. So when I smell good food, when we smell good food, your the salivary glands excrete saliva into your mouth, and it triggers those salivary glands to secrete the saliva. And then when we chew our food, the mouth will secrete even more saliva, which has enzymes in it that are designed to start the breakdown of the food that we're chewing. From the mouth, we go to the very long tube here, which is the esophagus, which carries the food to the stomach via via peristalsis, which is a contraction of the muscles that move the food from the pharynx all the way down through the esophagus into the stomach. In the stomach is where we have our acid and our enzymes that will continue to break down the food as we go further in. And then we get to the small intestines where all the good stuff happens. So when we get to the small intestines, the food, of course, is going to be continued to break down using enzymes that are released from the pancreas, which is one of the accessory organs that we mentioned earlier, and bile from the liver as well. It is here that the nutrients are absorbed through the intestinal wall and into the bloodstream. A lot of people say you are what you eat, but we are what we absorb, because if the food we're eating, we're not absorbing those nutrients, then our body's is not getting all the nutrients we need to be healthy. Ms. Violet, did you have anything you want to say?
Yeah, I was gonna say when go back to the mouth.
Yes.
When we eat certain things, like fruits and vegetables,
yes,
those are natural, so it helps break down, so when you and I go like in a mini fast, like a juice fast or raw fast, our body's not using up any energy because of fruits that we're putting in our body. Those are the things that's that enzyme that's in there, that's what's working. And that's the reason why from my experience, when I do like a juice fast or a raw fast, I have energy because my body's not burning stuff,
Right.
It's a vegetable and the enzyme.
It doesn't have to use the enzymes in our own body to do it because we're already putting the ones in. That's right.
Yeah. So that adding more fruits and vegetables to your diet is very important,
Very important.
So you have that extra enzyme to help, break down the food in your body.
And when we break down the food in our body as well, it brings me into I wanted to tie this all in into, some of the issues with digestion that I've experienced and how it kind of relates to that as well. So after the small intestine, as Val said, it starts in the mouth. When you eat fruits and vegetables that have the enzymes in them, it's a lot easier because it has enzymes already in them. Sorry, guys, that was a noise. I don't know where that came from. From the small intestines, we go into the colon, which is the large intestines. And it's there that the leftover waste that did not absorb into the blood is going to be put directly into the rectum. And when we get that feeling that we have to use the bathroom, your brain sends a message, or your sensory organ sends a message to the brain, says, you need to find a toilet, it's time to use the bathroom. It's amazing the way everything is connected. So once all that happens, basically, all in all, everything, all of the organs from the mouth all the way to the rectum to the anus all work together to break down the food so that it can be absorbed into the system. Somebody mentioned something about kombucha, I believe it was, in the last video comments. So I did want to talk a little bit about that as well. Ms. Valerie, did you have something you wanted to bring up about any of the organs we talked about? Or?
Yeah, you was talking about the acid in the stomach and the acid.
Yes.
And a lot of people, I know for your mom, she had low acid.
Yes.
Causing her, to be sick. So that's the reason our body gives signal,
right.
So when you have low acid, acid like in your mom experience, she was getting, so it's important for us to listen to our body. And, because like I said before, our body gives signals. So the body tells us, when we're low in something. And I know for my two boys, when they have Crohn's, and when their body, when they're going through a flare-up state, they can't have certain things in their body.
Right.
That's the small intestine. That's where the nutrients and stuff goes in. So,
right.
And when they have a flare-up, the nutrients is not getting into the body. It's going straight through. So it's important during a flare-up state, what you need to eat for that nutrient to stay in the body, so
That's
it can be
right. Because if you think about it, if your body's not absorbing any nutrients, you're slowly becoming malnourished.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
I know from myself, it might be the same for you too, Ms. Violet. Tell me if it is, but I had an overgrowth of yeast, candida and yeast in my body. That was part of my problem that was creating the issue with the leaky gut, because yeast breaks down the cells of the lining in the small intestines. So when it breaks that down, it causes some of the bad stuff that's not supposed to be seeped into the bloodstream to be seeped into the bloodstream. And it's that toxic waste that is seeped into the bloodstream that creates an immune response. And that immune response is the digestive problems we talked about, like IBS, Crohn's, celiac, constipation, extreme bloating and gas, the different things that, are a result of intestinal permeability or a leaky gut. And
you mentioned in kombucha. So
kombucha, that's right. Kombucha. Thank you, Ms. Violet. You're the best. With kombucha, I actually made a really bad mistake, Ms. Violet. It was like, I think before I knew any of the problems I had, I thought, oh, kombucha is going to fix everything. That's what I need. That's what I need to balance out my gut or whatever. So I was downing all this kombucha, not realizing that it was wreaking all this havoc in my gut. And I thought that I was helping it, and I wasn't. And I thought that because it's a fermented drink and it has good bacteria, that it would, enhance the good bacteria in my body and create less issues for me. But the problem is that kombucha doesn't only feed your good bacteria, it also feeds your bad bacteria and your yeast as well. So if you're having digestive issues like I was, and I had a yeast overgrowth that was kind of fueling that, all that kombucha that I was drinking was exacerbating. It was like throwing fuel on the fire. It was like throwing gas in the fire, because if you already have an overgrowth and then you're just feeding it more, the idea is to starve it so that it can, eventually, die out. But if the kombucha is just feeding it, it's just creating more, it's just adding more fuel to the fire and creating more problems. You want to add to that, Ms. Violet?
Yeah, so for you, kombucha is an enemy for you right now.
Yes.
Yeah, but for me, whenever I consume kombucha, it helps me. I could tell a difference in my.
Right.
Yeah, so kombucha is good, but it's not for everybody.
That's
if you
right.
have overgrowth of yeast and candida, it's you got to stay away from kombucha.
Right.
Now, on kombucha, bread, stuff that have yeast in it, everything have yeast in it, you got to stay away from it. And eat the stuff that doesn't going to cause you more problem.
That's right.
Like even the fruits, you have to have low glycemic fruits.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Like berries.
Yeah, berries.
Some of my favorite is berries. I love blueberries and strawberries. They're so convenient to just grab and snack on. Yeah. That's mostly what I stick to. I've been able, now that I've come to a point where I can introduce certain foods back. I can have certain foods in a minimal way, like bananas. I can have, as long as it's not to where it's in an imbalanced way, I'm having a whole lot of it, because before I was having so much high glycemic sugar and I was having a lot of fruit in the high glycemic fruit. So I was just completely feeding all that yeast and candida that was in my body. And then all the kombucha that I was having was just adding to the problem. But it's just interesting because you can see that even us, we both have digestive problems, but there's certain things you can eat that I can't eat and that I can eat that you can eat or drink, like kombucha, and how, it was feeding my candida, but for you, it was able to help you in a lot of ways. So that's why it's so important you really listen to your body, listen to how you feel after you eat something, after you drink something, really pay attention to how your body's reacting to that. Also, another thing with kombucha that I found is that I don't know if this is with everybody, but for me, what I found is any drink with any kind of carbonation, like any kind of fizz, it irritates my gut to no end, and I'll just be bloated and gassy. I will not be a very comfortable person at all. So it just, but for me, I was ignoring that. I was like, no, this is supposed to be healthy. It's great. And, it wasn't good for me. That's why it's so important you listen to what your body's telling. Your body will tell you what's going to work and what's not going to work for you. You just got to really tune in and pay attention to what it's saying. You have something you want to add in, Ms. Violet?
Yeah, for both of my boys, they have young men, but by young men, they have Crohn's, right? But when one is going through a flare up, cannot have anything with like fermented stuff or anything carbonation. You can't have anything like that. Nothing, no physics, no, can't have, but the other one can.
Wow.
So.
And you said it's your son with the Crohn's that can have it.
They both have Crohn's. Both have Crohn's, but one can have it, one cannot have it.
Wow.
Yeah,
it just goes to show you everyone's so different.
Yeah, so even though they have the same type of disease, but they still have to listen to their body.
That's right. That's right. Got to listen to your body. And, like you said, one person's healthy food will be another person's poison. So it's not health is not a one size fits all for, people. You have to tune in what's good for you and what makes, your body, absorb the nutrients the best and all of that.
Something with the light, Jilly. Something with your light.
My light? Is it making me look orange?
No. It's got dark and something.
Gotten dark. Okay. The sun might have went away. Let me try turning on my light. One moment. Okay. Let's see. How's that? Is that a little better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we were talking about the kombucha and how one of your sons, he's able to drink it, and the other son, it creates irritation within his gut. And
whenever it's going through a flare up.
We're going through a flare up, right? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Now let me ask you this, Ms. Violet. In regards to flare ups and all of that, like when you start to have a flare up, are you very easily able to pinpoint where it comes from, or is it
when I eat something, it's like an instant reaction. I know exactly, okay, I have that, and I know it messes with me, so I know exactly. And I'm dealing with this for years, so I know certain things that have, certain things that can have, for me. So it's going to, and my flare up is like my side, my left side.
Wow.
That's where the pain, I have the pain right there, my left side. So I know, like, certain things, do not flare up. I eat very simple food, like a lot of smoothies, or you have to just stay away from a lot of stuff, like really, there's a lot of stuff I cannot eat anyway. So during that flavor, I really gotta, stay away from.
So the side stomach is when that's the kind of flare up that happens to you when you start to feel it in the side. Okay.
Yeah, my left side, but yeah.
What other symptoms do you experience?
Like pain in my chest and my back, like
in your back too. Wow.
My arm pain, and like if I ever have any nuts and seeds, instant.
Wow.
Beans, instant. Instant. So I know for my boys sometimes it's days for them, to have for their symptom to show, but for me it's like an instant for me. Yes.
It's the same with me. Sometimes it'll be like 3 days and I'll be like, what happened? And then the most I'll be like, that thing you ate like 3 days ago.
Yeah. And that's the reason it's important for us to write stuff down. Write it down.
Right. That's
so we can pinpoint, okay, this is what I have this day.
That's right.
So it doesn't matter what it is that we're eating, write it down. As long as you have digestive problem.
That's right.
Food allergies, the IBD. It all covers, Crohn's, diverticulitis. I just write stuff down.
Right.
So exactly, what am I eating, and I have to do with the, the stuff that they're growing,
That's right.
The pollution, everything. So much is against us. If we can combat it by, eat more carefully, and watch the stuff that we eat, organic is best if we can.
Definitely.
Yeah, organic because those pesticides and even some organic. If you do your research, they do spray organic food, but they have to spray it. So even though I buy organic stuff, I still wash it, still soak it and wash it because it still has some kind of some spray on there.
Right.
Spray on there. So sometimes that very, very, very food that you put in all the time, the food you put in your mouth, damage.
That's right.
And don't forget stress.
Stress is like a number, like it's when you think about it, I feel like stress, especially like when my mom, one day you guys will be able to see her too on here. We'll get her on here. But she was under a lot of stress and her food allergies increased. She had to cut out even more food from her diet and, try to heal her body. And it just shows that stress really does take a toll on your digestive system. Your brain and your gut are so connected. And it's like one response, when your brain responds, like if you're stressed or if you're depressed or just unhappy, your gut will immediately respond to that in a bad way. At least, and I know for me, if I'm stressed, I just don't eat because I'll get a stomach ache. And I wanted to touch a little bit on nutrient absorption as well, because I feel like it's very important, especially when the food, like we said, when it enters into the small intestines, that's where, your nutrients is absorbed and then is, put to the rest of the body and all of that. And I know for me and my condition, my immune system, and I didn't even realize it, but my immune system was so weak. I was like getting sick all the time and I didn't know why. And it wasn't until my parents said something, because I had visited them, like it was, I visit my parents often. And when I saw them, they were just like, every time we see you, you're sick or you're getting over being sick. It was just like, something that became a pattern. And, when your body is, when you have damaged cells because leaky gut, you're not producing as many enzymes, and especially, if you're not producing as many enzymes, your body isn't able to break down the food that you're putting in it, and then the nutrients thereby is not being able to be absorbed, and then your immune system gets weakened because your body's not getting the nutrients that it needs, and so your body just slowly starts to break down. I noticed my skin started having I started having problems with my skin. And just unexplained, like I remember I used to, like at work, I used to just get like random brain fog just out of nowhere. And I was like, I don't know where this is coming from. I know I'm not stupid. I know I'm not crazy, but it was just like, my brain would just go blank after a while. And it just shows how everything is so connected. Did you have anything you wanted to add to that, Ms. Violet?
As you talked about the skin, our skin is the biggest organ of elimination. Yes. Whatever's happening inside the skin, is showing the outside,
That's right.
But the body said that I need help, I need
That's
help.
Right.
Watch your skin as well, because it tells you what's going on.
That's right. I remember I was getting like little itty bitty pimples on the side of my face. Like, my skin's not perfect, but when, I can tell when there's something that's going on inside that's causing a reaction on my skin on the outside. And it, like you said, the skin is the largest organ of your body. So you can tell a lot by just seeing how your skin reacts to things as well. Like the boys, when they would get, I remember flare-ups, their skin would also react.
Yeah, yes. And you used to be like, wow, yes. Yeah, when it was even that gluten, the little time they had in the body. I mean, it's the skin, but they were just eczema, bad eczema. Gluten is not our friend, definitely.
No, it's definitely not.
Yes, and the body doesn't do anything with gluten. It just sits there.
Right.
So even though you're not having an allergic reaction to gluten, will affect your body. It's affecting your body somehow in some form of ways, affecting your body.
That's so true. That's so true. And not only gluten, but alcohol just completely destroys your gut and your insides. And I went through a small phase in college where I was, drinking a little bit more than I should. Yeah. And when I, when I think back to like the timeline from when I started having digestive issues all the way until now, when I started drinking, I remember like I went to the hospital at one point because my stomach was just like, I was in so much pain. I was just like, I don't know what this is. So that, and then on top of that, my diet, I was eating a lot of high glycemic fruits. That was like, I feel like the majority of my diet. Like we used to do like fruit fasts and I used to do all those types of things. And there's nothing wrong with being vegan or being plant-based. In fact, I think it's a great thing, especially if it works for you. But one thing that I do want to point out is it's very important to do it in a balanced way. It's very important that, any diet that you do, you balance it out. I believe balance is key. And for me, I was not balanced at all. I was having like 6 bananas for breakfast. And, for somebody that might be good for somebody, but for me, because my body was sensitive to all that sugar, it was just feeding all of the yeast in my body and creating more issues. So that's something I think that both of us kind of went through. Well, I know you did a lot of fasting too, but did you have any problems with yeast or anything like that? Or
I didn't have a problem with yeast, but I know, I think it was 2017. Yeah, 2017 or 2018. I went to did some blood work, and I did some food allergy test, and I came back. My list was so long with the food allergy, and I knew, like the nuts and the But when the doctor told me that I can't have fruits, I'm like, fruits is my life. Like, and at that time, my local farmer, farmer's market, she lived like 10 minutes away from me. I got a box of peach from her, and peaches are so good.
Oh, they're so good.
And I came home, I'm like, I talk about I can't have fruits. I'm like, you crazy? But guess what? I learned the hard way, because it was affect that high sugar content in the fruit, which is good, but it's for me at the time it wasn't good for me. So I had to cut it out. To cut out all of my fruits. I have to eat like the berries, the low glycemic index was the berries, and so so at a point in my life, I couldn't have. But even now, my bodies have a allergic reaction to bananas, so I can't have right now. Yes, so so it's just crazy. It is
crazy. And I remember with Mama, one thing she told me, she was just like, I focus on what I can have, because if I focus on what I can't have, I'm gonna go crazy. And I remember when the doctor showed me the list of everything I couldn't eat, I was just like, what am I supposed to eat? Those are everything I eat, But, then I had to switch my mindset and focus on the things that I can have and research more things. I discovered a lot more things now that I wasn't eating, and now I love, so always got to look at the positive too. There's always good that comes out of things.
Yeah. Like your mom and I always talk about, we talk and we always, stuff that we cannot eat. We're missing stuff that we can't eat, but then we regroup and get back on track and say, okay, let's focus on this thing that we can.
That's right. That's right. I know for me, I'm a berry fanatic right now. I wasn't like that. I was into more like mangoes and bananas before, but now I can eat like a whole thing, a big bowl of blueberries just to myself. And I have so much more appreciation for fruits that I didn't really have appreciation as much for before, my illness.
Yeah, mangoes are my favorite food. That's one of my favorite.
I know you love mangoes. Mangoes are your fruit.
Yes, but like I said, I have to watch myself, and I know my limits. You know, I know my okay. If I'm eating and I start to have the symptom, you know, but for me it's itching. You know, I itch a lot. Wow. I have too much sugar, so now I can't even eat. I don't use sugar. You know, I use like a sugar substitute, like monk fruit. You know, sweet. Yeah, and some my smoothie like the other yesterday I made a smoothie. Right, it was what I did some orange juice, just squeeze some orange juice, and then I had spinach and watermelon seed, and that was it. I didn't miss anything. For my family, it would be nasty. For someone else, it would be nasty, but I don't miss the. You know, it was enough sugar in the orange juice for me to, you know, to have. But you know, when it comes to my family would always say, "Violet, your sweetness is not my sweetness." You know. They said, "Oh, can you eat that? There's no sugar in it. It's not sweet." But you know, it's the same way. You know?
It's the same way with my sister. Whenever I bake her one of my gluten-free, sugar-free dessert, she was just like, "There's no sugar in this." And I'm just like, "It's sweet," because I think the monk fruit and the stevia is really sweet. Yes. But she's like, "No, that's not sweet." And I'm like, "That's sweet, girl." You know, it's just but it's a beautiful thing how our bodies adapt and how our bodies learn to, you know, adapt to the different things, you know, we have to do to heal it. So, you know, for you now, you can taste sweetness in fruits that, you know, maybe you would have had to add extra sweetness to, but now you're able to taste the sweetness. I think that's super cool.
Yes. Yeah.
So we just started chatting, I guess, but I really enjoyed chatting with you, Ms. Violet. I feel like I learned a lot. But so we talked about the components of the digestive system. We went through the organs, the mouth, the esophagus, the stomach, the small intestines, the colon, the rectum. All of that makes up what the tubing that goes from your mouth to your throat, to your esophagus, all the way down to your anus. And it's, you know, everything working together. It's a team effort, everything from your saliva to even the good bacteria in your body, your blood, the way the liver purifies the blood so that it can be sent to the rest of the body. Everything is working together so your body is able to absorb that nutrients and get what it needs to work optimally in the best way possible. The Bible says we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And as I was, you know, reading everything on how each organ works in relation to the digestive system and how it all contributes to, you know, just our body being able to absorb and use these nutrients, it brought me to that verse because I was like, wow, you can't look at the body and say it wasn't a creator. You can't look at how we're able to eat food and how that food's able to sustain us because of how our body absorbs the nutrients and digests it. It's beautiful, really. It's very beautiful. You have something you want to add to that, Ms. Violet?
Yeah, it's like if you look outside nature, you know, everything ministers to itself. That's right. Yes, so I'm out here now looking at, you know, the cows, and they have the trees around and the birds. That's right. Everything that's minister, you know, give service. It's just like the body. That's you know, when the Most High created us, you know exactly what he was doing. The Most High is artist without rival. There's nothing can, you know, there's nobody can compare to the Most High. You know, he created these bodies, and you know exactly what we need. You know exactly. So, you know, when we're going through stuff in our body, we need to go to him really to seek him. That's right. Father, show me what am I doing wrong, you know, show it to me. And it will show us. He give us health principles, you know, nutrition, exercise, water, time, you know, temper in all things. It doesn't matter what temper in all things. That's no matter what temper in all things, they're fresh air, you know, rest. Rest is very important, a part of healing the body. And most of all, trust in him, you know, trust in Yah. And that I am the one that healeth thee, you know.
That's right.
So he wants to heal us, you know. He doesn't want his children to be sick. He wants
you know, when you brought up the 8 doctors of the 8 laws of health, it made me think about also how all of those play a role in digestion, the air we breathe.
Exactly.
You know, if we live, I know for you live in the countryside where there's a lot of farms. and a lot of pesticides, which could possibly have played a role in the digestive problems that you guys experience as well, possibly for myself as well, because my family lived in, you know, farm area for a while too. And, you know, sleep, if you don't, I know for me, sleep was something that I neglected for so long that I didn't like, I guess, value as important. And, you know, when you don't get enough sleep, that messes up things too. Everything is connected. Everything is connected. When you're not getting enough sleep and you're stressed and your mind is just restless, it affects everything that's going on. It does affect the gut, it affects the brain. And, you know, that stress is just like poison, just going straight into your body, straight into your gut. So it's important that you practice, you develop habits like, you know, praying to the Most High, you know, things that bring you peace, praying, reading the Bible, reading the Word of God. Going out in nature is huge. Like just being out in nature is so good for your mental health. And like I said, because your gut and I know I keep saying it, your gut and your brain are so connected. When you're good up here, it falls in place. You know, everything plays a part into it. And when you were mentioning the 8 doctors, I was like, wow, all of those play a part in digestion. Every one of them have a role in that. And it's powerful when you think about it.
Yeah. Everything starts at the core. Because even when you exercise, the core have to be strong.
Right.
The gut area have to be strong. So everything starts at the core right here.
That's right.
The center of the body. So we got to take care of the gut right here. We have to take care of the, and by taking, we have to listen to our body, what we're feeding it, you know, what we're giving into it. So our body is very important for us to listen to what the body is telling you. You know, yes.
And I think that's all I have for today on the components of the digestive system. I wanted to talk about each component. We went over, the leaky gut and why certain people can have kombucha and why certain people can't. That's something we wanted to make sure we mentioned because someone had a question. If any of you guys have questions, please leave them down below so we can help you guys in any way we can, because we're all in this series together and super, super happy that we're all here learning. And it's great. It's a blessing. It really is.
Yes. And for those of you just joining the second series, I've known Jilly for a long time. She was a little girl, 7, you know, so she's like my daughter. So, so we go through the same, you know, digestive problem. And said, why not have her on the show just to come and give her experience, you know, because the Bible said we overcome by the word of our mouth, you know, when we experience is so good, you know, experience. You know, you can have like a lot of people saying this, saying that, but if you go through that experience, you could able to share.
That's
right. Share your experience, be a testimony, you know, to help someone else, you know?
That's right.
That was my whole purpose to start a YouTube channel, you know. As I said, you know, when the children became when the whole family became gluten-free, you know, I said, you know, it was hard for me, you know, to adjust gluten diet to a gluten-free diet. So I say, I want to share what the most have given me, you know, the recipes and stuff like that with other people out there, you know. You can make delicious gluten-free foods, you know. So that's what I did, and I started this YouTube channel, you know.
The Most High really did just bless your channel and the ideas that he gave you. Like when I see things on your channel, like the thyme oil, something that I never even thought was a thing, or like, you know, it's just, there's so much that the Most High through you brings into the channel that it's just amazing. I thank you so much for all your videos because they're so helpful.
Yeah, I praise him because he's the one give me these ideas. He downloads recipe in my head and then, you know, just tell me what to do. Not all the time on here doing recipes, you know, because I do have a family. Working now. I'm busy, but, you know, whenever the Most I give me stuff to share, you know, he a lot more stuff I don't put on here, but, you know, whenever I can, and I share what I can, you know.
Yes, and it's always beautiful, and it's always inspiring, always. Yeah. And it's honestly, just in closing remarks, I'd like to say, it's such a blessing that, not a blessing that obviously we caught these digestive issues, but I know for me, I don't know what I would have did if I didn't know you and my mom, because my mom's the one who pushed me to get checked out. She was just like, I
Yeah.
made you an appointment. You're going to go and you're going to get checked out. Because I was like, Mom, I'm fine. You know, I'll be okay. I'll just, you know, it'll be fine. But mothers always know. Mothers
Yes,
always
yes,
know if their baby's
yes,
not okay. So she made
yes,
me the appointment. I was able to get the help. And I didn't feel alone because I had you. My mom was going through the same issues. Sam and Tim also were going through the same type of issues. So, you know, everyone who's watching this video, I want you to know you're not alone. We're in this together, and this series is for all of us, so we can learn and help each other and encourage each other to have a healthy gut and a healthy mind.
yes.
So thank you guys so much. Hope I wasn't too awkward.
It's fine, Jilly.
Thank you guys so much
good.
for listening.
Yes. So guys want to join us next week for another episode. You know, we're gonna continue on this digestive system. We'll talk about the enzyme. How important enzyme it is for the body, you know, for us to have enzyme, you know, get enzyme in the body. So Jilly have did a recipe at the end of the video. Watch it all the way through, you know, for you to get that see that recipe that you did. So yes. Yes. Thank you once more for tuning in, and we will talk to you in the next upload.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Hi guys, it's Jilly Bean, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make a smoothie bowl. So you're going to need a blender. I have a NutriBullet, so I'm going to use my NutriBullet. You're going to need avocado and some frozen berries. You can use any berries you want. I like to use this one from Trader Joe's because it has a mix of strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, and raspberries. And I'm going to use some protein powder. This protein powder is Garden of Life protein powder. I love this stuff. I use vegan protein powders because I can't have dairy. I'm lactose intolerant. So I usually stick to vegan protein powders. I use it in my smoothies and in my smoothie bowls. I put it in my waffles and pancakes when I make waffles and pancakes. Gluten-free, sugar-free, and it's soy-free, which I really like. With other brands, just be careful because sometimes they do use soy in the protein powder. So just make sure you read the ingredients if you're soy-free like me. Oops. Oh yes, that. I forgot to mention you're also going to need almond milk and just a dash of cinnamon. Now we're about to blend her up. Make sure it's closed well. All right, oh yes, perfect. You can see it's almost like ice cream. That's so good. It's creamy, it's delicious, it's fluffy, just how I like it. Almost like ice cream. Let's do a little taste test on camera and see how we did. So good. I know not everyone likes the taste of protein powder. You can omit the protein powder, and instead I would just add maybe a couple drops of stevia just to add a little bit of sweetness, because sometimes the berries can be a little bitter. The protein powder is sweetened with stevia, so it adds a little bit of sweetness as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe, and I hope you guys give it a try, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!